We are back on Morning Line, our final segment this morning with Beverly Watts, Executive Director of the Tennessee Human Rights Coalition, or Commission, I'm sorry. And we've got Greg waited through the break. Let's take a call from Greg. Greg, good morning. Hi.
Good morning.
What's on your mind?
Well, I am new here in Nashville. I've been here for 2 years now. And just to make it short, I have been dismissed, terminated, fired, separated from my employers for every job I get. I've been dismissed. And I'm wondering if, as a Tennessee human rights, what can I do?
Well, now, I got to ask you this. I mean, so you're saying you've been let go from all of these jobs unjustly?
Every one of them.
So, and why do you think they were letting you go?
Well, it's kind of interesting. It's all been because of breaking company policy, allegedly.
It's just, the odd thing about it is if it happens once, then you look at maybe twice, but the fact that every place you've gone, you've had problems, I'm going to say, well, wait, are you sure it's them and not you?
That's the question. That is the question that I've been asked. But if I think if someone investigated a man of my caliber, a man that's been in the workforce for over 40 years, do you think I'd know how to carry myself?
Well, I agree with you. What do you think, ma'am?
That would probably need us to have him call and talk with our intake to talk about the issues for each of those instances to see if there's anything that is there that we could look at under the Tennessee Human Rights Act.
That's the trick. He was saying, he didn't say it was necessarily because of his skin color. He said it was policies and things maybe. And a man of his experience may see something that, and by the way, we've put up on the screen there how you file a complaint, may see a policy that he thinks, with my experience, I don't think that makes sense, and he chooses to go the other way. That would not fall under...
No, but again, if he wants to, ask more specific questions and give us more details, he can call our 800 number and talk with our intake office and find out. We will generally try to send people a complaint form. If it's multiple companies, multiple issues, we'll ask a few questions to see if there's anything. If it's a violation of company policies and the policies themselves, and it's not a violation of the Tennessee Human Rights Act, then there's nothing that we could do. Okay, well, Greg, I encourage you, and we'll put the number up again, certainly, to file that complaint and follow up on it. There may be something more there, because he sounds like someone who would be good on the job, just based there and what's going on behind the scenes. If he has all that experience, it's worth looking into. Let's go next to Tony. Tony, good morning. Hi, Tony.
Hey, good morning, Nick.
Hey.
When I was employed several years back, I filed a complaint against my employer. I went to EEOC. Now, EEOC and Tennessee Human Rights, they don't want to bump heads, so they tell you got to file a complaint with either or. Now, they let the employer wiggle its way out of it, the EEOC, I guess because federal funding. And believe it or not, if the president is Republican or Democrat, it affects your case. Even the governor is Republican or Democrat. They got a lot of power over these situations because they can underfund them. Now, they let the employee get away with that, and he's supposed to work out a deal where he laid me off and didn't lay nobody else off. And I cut my hours when I returned, and he promised to give me another job, which he didn't. And they didn't follow up on it. Now, the problem is, Nick, whoever gets these file these claims to get your right to sue, you got to have money. You got to get a proper attorney, which if you don't have no money, you're just out there. You just might as well start looking for another job because this is a right to work state, and you are fighting against City Hall.
EEOC will issue right to sue letters. We will give you a full investigation on every case that comes through our door by state law, because we have to. The EEOC will do an analysis using a number of different factors and determine whether A, it is something that they will continue to investigate and perhaps litigate. They'll also look to see if A, there's enough there to make an assessment and give individuals a right to sue in federal court. And people can file pro se, but most people do need lawyers. Under the Tennessee Human Rights Act, everything that comes through our doors, we're going to tell you what we've looked at, and we're going to go through the full gamut of a full investigation before we make a decision. And if we make a decision, there are certain rights that the individual has. If they think we haven't looked at all the data, they can come back to me within 30 days.
Bring you more stuff.
And say, you failed to look at these. We want you to reconsider your original opinion.
But EEOC and you don't investigate simultaneously.
No,
it's one
we
or
do
the
not.
other. So
it's one or the other, because we do have a memorandum of understanding with the EEOC. We have a memorandum with HUD.
And so how does someone decide whether they go to you or EEOC?
They can, if it's 15 or more, they must go to EEOC. Even if they come into our office and they later decide that they want the EEOC to do it, they can withdraw and go to the EEOC.
So if it's 15 or more, they have to go to the EEOC. You only handle employers.
No, we will take anything of 8 or more. But if people come in and they have missed the statute of limitations at 180 days,
that's right. It's longer with the EEOC.
300 days, and it's 15 or more, then we send that to the EEOC. But they can come to us and we can do that, and we will tell them the difference, and we try to, we have more than we can do, so we're not saying, gotta come here, gotta come here.
Yeah.
What we want people to do is understand what we'll do, how long it will take us to do that we'll do a full investigation. We'll look at all of the issues and allegations they've identified to us. We also seek to settle most of the claims that come through, and that's also under our law. So we will seek to settle the issues, and if we settle anything, individuals may get funds, they may get some other things, but there is a year that we usually will monitor those claims to make sure that they meet the standards, and if at some point they don't, then we could go back in and do further investigations and litigation.
Well, I know Tony also talks about having to have money to hire an attorney. In a lot of these cases, they're taking on a contingency. I've done stories with attorneys who handle discrimination cases. They take it. You don't have to pay them anything or shouldn't pay them anything up front most of the time. And then they only get paid if they win. Now, they're only going to take your case if they think you have a strong case. But most of the time, that's how it is. You don't need money up front on those. And some of these cases, if you win, can be quite lucrative, depending on the circumstances. Let's go next to Mike. Mike, good morning. Hi, Mike.
Hey, Nick. How you doing?
Good.
I might be getting a little off of your all subject here. I'm having trouble with a company here in Nashville about my dentures. And is there a consumer rights group or somebody that I can get in touch with as far as being able to follow up on and maybe take a case or something? I've been out of work here for the past year and all. I paid these people a lot of money out of my savings, and I'm right here at the end of it and about to get my final set of dentures, and they want to back out of the contract.
Okay, so you're saying your issue with the dentures is they're not finishing up your dentures? I thought you were saying it had something to do with an employer not wanting to deal with your dentures.
No, it's an individual.
It's a consumer issue.
Like I said, I'm a little off y'all's topic.
Okay, I don't know if you could. What should he do on that?
There are some consumer rights that are in the state, so they can. I think there's a couple of numbers, and sometimes you can find it in Metro as well. But there are a number of groups who look at consumer issues and consumer related that may be able to help, but I can't tell you who they are offhand.
Yeah, you can even call Jennifer Krause here at News Channel 5. She's our consumer reporter in the I-team.
Right, exactly.
That could look into that. But yeah, I mean, that would be the same as, I suppose, someone who pays one of these roofers who get started and take your money and then they disappear when the job's only halfway done. I mean, you can file a claim against them in small claims court. You can also sue them along those lines, and there can be complaints made to, if this is a dentist and they've got a medical license or something, you can file a complaint against them there. That's the route I'd go. Back on the topic here, just as we wrap things up. So as we sit here today, and as everyone heads to work on this Wednesday and gets to the vet workplace, you would imagine there are women and men heading into a workplace, and some of them are going to face some kind of discrimination on the job. Every damn day in Nashville, in any city in the country. It still happens.
Absolutely.
And they're going to get away with it unless you say something.
Right, and it's up to individuals to raise the issue. Sometimes they will raise it internally if they feel comfortable enough and if there are policies in place that allow them to do that. Sometimes they'll come to our organization and we will take them through a series of issues at the intake stage to make sure that everything is timely. It's one of the allegations we'll look at, and if so, we'll file it as a complaint and we will do an investigation.
By the way, when you do investigate, I apologize for interrupting, it just, when you do the investigation, is the person who filed that complaint with you typically still working at this place, perhaps?
Sometimes they are. Sometimes they've been dismissed. We get complaints on everything. We get complaints on failure to promote, failure to provide benefits, failure to provide training. You name it, it's done. It's only if they're fired, they usually come to us, and it's more emotional because they've just lost their job and they're looking to make sure they can find another job.
Or I could see someone working in a place that they may be very much like, but there's one individual that's just making it untenable for them, and they want to stay there, but they want that to be dealt with. For whatever reason, the boss isn't handling it. They could come to you while they're still working there. Look, we just have a minute and a half. Can we put the information back up there again, Mary Elena? So this is basically it. To file a complaint, you can call the 800 number there.
Right.
Correct, and talk to someone there and go over the details. And then you can also go to the website, www.tn.gov/human rights. And again, you're over there on Rosa Parks, 23rd floor. People don't need to stop by the office typically, do they?
No, as a matter of fact, most people will either call us or go online these days and file it. And we just put our online complaint form up in January, and more than 50% of the cases we're getting now are coming from the online complaint form.
That's great. Is it a couple pages lengthy?
It's probably about 3 to 4 pages, but what we need them to do is tell their story with as much detail as possible, and we'll go through it at intake, and then if it limits our need to call back and forth, because we do evaluate everything that comes in and determine whether or not we can even file a complaint. It's at a stage where it's not a complaint when we first look at it. It's only after we can determine number of employees, the issues, everything else.
Triage to determine and all of that. Yeah. Beverly, thank goodness for you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on this morning, ma'am. And we'll do it again sometime. I think it's good to get the word out. Thank you for coming on. I'll be back with a programming note about tomorrow right after this.